love myself. Love that song. And that musician, Faith Rivera, is an amazing, wonderful New Thought musician, and we're very grateful to be using her music today. So thank you, all of you, for being here. We're here to remind you that such is the nature of life, that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear. You're the opportunity. So am I, and so it is. We are life showing up as individuated versions, as people, as human beings. Therefore, we can only know you for that entire truth of who you are, and we only celebrate you. We celebrate your choices. We celebrate your life. We celebrate the way you have come to identify yourself in the world, whatever your gender, whatever your ideas about who you are and how you fit and where you belong, whatever ethnicity you come from and have continued in, whatever choices you make about your families of choice and your families of origin. All of those things are unique and wonderful new varieties of living and life in this current culture and current world. And we're celebrating all of that because we're celebrating you. We're celebrating who you are. We're celebrating what you're doing and why you're here. So this day is a celebration. Every service we do here is not really a service as much as it's a Sunday celebration. Celebrating life, celebrating the goodness of life, and celebrating that on some deep and high level, and with all going on in the world, it is still true and real that all is well. The Spirit has got this, that life has got this, and will continue to go and grow and expand no matter what. So I'd like to share a little more about what we believe through our Declaration of Principles. I believe
in one God,
one absolute power and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love
and creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life
and the immortality of the individual soul,
forever unfolding.
I believe
in the eternal goodness,
the eternal goodness of God,
the eternal loving kindness,
and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. So there you have some of it. There's a lot more to be said about all of those things. We are a community of support and love as we all find the way to live more fully and more freely in this world at this time. One of those ways we do that is by supporting each other and by learning this teaching and learning the rules and the practices and the principles of the science of mind and of New Thought. Ancient wisdom brought into modern thinking and modern ideas. So one of the ways we do that is through our practitioners. Our practitioners are people who are trained in this teaching, who can work with you as well as themselves to bring about change, to help you with those places where you may feel stuck, those places where you can require or desire more support. You can contact them through our website. Today we have sharing with us one of our practitioners, a lead practitioner, Doug Moody, who will talk to us and then treat with us. Thank you. Take it away, Doug.
Thank you, Dr. Bob Deen, and good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Midtown, Atlanta. Great to be with you this morning. First off, today's topic is loving this body, which I think is really interesting. It was a particular area of interest to me in my practitioner training. So we're going to start this morning. I want you to all give yourselves a big hug for being here with us this morning, because I guarantee you there's going to be some great ideas that you are going to really love, that you're going to garner this morning about how to love yourself and create the body that you really want, body, mind, and spirit. I ran across an interesting quote from Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this teaching, who this quote says, "Think of the body as a spiritual instrument. Say to yourself, I am the spirit manifest." I think this is a very powerful quote because it reminds us that body is always the effect and not the cause. Another way to possibly look at it is your body is a mirror reflecting back to you and to others what you think, what you say, and what you do in your actions. I ran across another anonymous quote that says, your mind is a garden. Your thoughts and feelings are the seeds. Your body can either produce flowers or weeds. Kind of an interesting way to look at it for people like me who love gardening. It's kind of an interesting topic too. Even scientific research has concluded in various studies that talking to plants in loving and affectionate ways yields greater growth and higher numbers of blooms. Imagine what the world could be like if we talked to ourselves and to each other that way. Kind of a profound thought. Along those lines, and in the whole mind, body, spirit unity, in my practitioner training, there's a great book if you need some additional ideas or some more reading called Mind Over Medicine, and it's by Dr. Lissa Rankin. This was a real profound section of my practitioner training that I just really loved. It was very, very empowering. And this book, which was written in 2013, still has a lot of truths that are just really, really wonderful. And along with that, we see so many examples in our culture of beauty and emphasis on the body. One such being that I think even lives on today in a very powerful and present way, despite that she has passed and left this earthly realm, is the Hollywood actress Audrey Hepburn. And she was often, claimed to be one of the world's most beautiful people. And somebody at one time asked her what her beauty secrets were. And I think her response is so enlightening about this connection between spirit and mind and body. And her response was to have attractive lips, speak kind words, to have a loving look for the goodness in all people, to look skinny, share your food with the hungry, to have beautiful hair, let a child cross it with his own fingers at least once a day, to have a beautiful poise, walk knowing you are never alone, because those who love and who have loved you always accompany you. People, even more than objects, need to be fixed, spoiled, awakened, wanted, and saved. Never give up on anyone. And remember, if you ever need a hand, you'll find them at the end of both your arms. When you become old, you will discover that you have two hands, one to help yourself and a second to help others. The beauty of a woman is seen in her eyes because that is the doorway opening to her heart, the source of love. The true beauty of a woman is a reflection of her soul, and that beauty only grows over the years. So if any of these ideas and revelations sound exciting, or maybe they sound challenging to you, if you need some help, reach out to our practitioners. We have an excellent team of practitioners here at Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. You can contact us via our website, www.cslmidtown.org, and contact a practitioner, and we'll be in touch. So it's a great way if you're finding that maybe you're struggling or you need some new ideas. We're here to help you out with that. So now, if you would please join me, I'm going to lead us in affirmative prayer. You can accept this in the third person and just relax and accept what resonates with you. And if something doesn't, just kind of let it go over you. And I'm just going to invite you to sit back in your chair, wherever you are, and just relax. Take a deep breath, release that, and just know this with me. There is one infinite power, one divine intelligence, this cosmic something that is operating throughout the universe and operating through me and each person present, always, every single second of every day, every single breath that we take. All we have to do is recognize this divine presence of spirit within me and within each. And when we do that, we are one. We are connected with this infinite source of all creation, of all good, of all love, of all beauty. I choose that connection right here and now, and every second going forth. And today I claim divine love, divine wisdom, divine courage, and right action, guiding me and each person present forward into a greater expression of life, into a beautiful, more spiritual expression of our physical presence through our body. I love my body. I treat my body with care, knowing that I am a unique and divine creation, the perfect expression of God manifest here on earth. I celebrate this. I don't need to be like anyone else. I let go of all ideas that I lack anything other than my own unique spiritual greatness. This is my birthright and my gift. It is a gift to each and every one of us. And we celebrate that today and always, knowing that when we do so, we make the world a better place. We reach out to others through love, through kindness, through kind acts to make everything, everywhere, a better place. I'm so grateful for this teaching. I'm so grateful for this recognition of spirit always being within me to empower me and each through every single day to create a greater expression of life and a greater world for all. I'm grateful for this center, for Dr. Bob Deen, for New Thought Radio, for bringing this message forth to our community and the world. And knowing this, I release my thoughts, my words into the universal law, knowing it is fully done and complete. And so are you, and so am I, and it is all wonderful. And so it is. And now for our music, we have another fun little exercise. It's a great song by Karen Drucker entitled I Look Good. And there's a line in here that's so important to this message where she says, I am the only me that will ever be. Think about that and enjoy. Thank you.
This new little game, it's the latest rage. It's not limited by race, creed, color, or age. I stand in front of the mirror every day, look at myself from head to toe and simply say, I look good. I look good. I look good. Good. I look good. I am the only me that will ever be. I look good. Now the rules of the game are specific and precise. I can't judge or criticize. I have to be nice. This is the body that I have. It's divine and a gift. I don't need to lose weight, color my gray, or have a facelift. I said I look good. I look good. I look good. I start every day by saying I look good. I look good. I am the only cannot be denied. 'Cause who I really am radiates from within. So I'll open my heart, quiet my critic, and begin. They say that beauty's skin deep, but I know for a fact it's not really how you look, but more how you act. Was I kind to a stranger? Did I give love today? I can look in the mirror, look at myself, and I can say I am good. I am good. I am good. I am good. I am enough. I know I am good. I am good. I am the only me that will ever be. I look good, yeah, yeah. I look good. I am good. I am good. Yes, I know I look good. I look good. I am the only me that will ever be. I'm good. So good.
I invite you to make that song your mantra. You do look good. I look good, and so it is. Thank you, Doug Moody, for that wonderful affirmative prayer and for bringing us. Who knew Audrey Hepburn was such an amazing metaphysician? There is so much truth out there in the world, coming from all kinds of places and all sorts of minds and thoughts and beings. We just have to listen for it and watch for it. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Well, you've often heard that we are spiritual beings having physical experiences. And you know, that's only half true. You probably also heard we're physical beings having spiritual experiences. And that's only half true as well, because they're both about where you start from. But the real truth to either of those statements is we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience, and we are human beings having a human experience. Now, those two may sound contradictory to you. They may sound like they're running in different directions, but they aren't. They're what we call a paradox. Para, two, dox, which is a root word for doctrine or doxology or truth, two truths that stand side by side that seem to be contradictory, but when looked at carefully, closely, and understood properly, are not contradictory. It is true and real that we are fully spiritual beings and we are fully human beings, that we aren't a mix of the two. Both are full and present all the time. Sometimes in New Thought teaching and conversation, people will tend to talk about their spiritual life as if this is the elevated part of them, and their human life as if that's somehow more base or somehow more distorted or more broken apart. But that's a fallacy, because the truth is, the more spiritually focused and have greater spiritual understanding that we have, the more human we are. And the more our humanity embraces us and we are embraced by it in a way that is powerful and true and real in our approach and in our connection with other people. You know, this sort of contradictory paradox carries over into some other areas that I think are really important. One of them is the idea of the sacred and the secular. People are fond of saying, well, I'm going into my sacred space now, as if there's some space you could find that isn't sacred. But we live in a universe. We live in a oneness. We live in a universe that is energetically united in all ways. It is one power showing up and taking shape and form and condensing in certain ways to make shapes, showing up in certain concentrations of ideas and thoughts and making different people and different ideas and what have you. But it's all coming from the same thing. It's all part of the same thing. So you can't have a secular space if secular means separated from the sacred. So the truth is, All space is sacred space. All practice, all ideas, all thoughts, all those things you're bringing forward into the world are sacred. All of those events you go to are sacred. From a soccer game to a high mass, to a family reunion, or a few minutes just walking down the road somewhere. It's all sacred. And paradoxically, it all appears to be secular. Because you don't often walk around and hear the big sounds of the trumpets and the horns that give you this idea that I'm doing something real sacred and really powerful here. And no, it's everyday life. It's choosing what we care about. It's liking certain foods and not liking others. It's making choices and creating new things and bringing new ways of being into the world for ourselves and other people. I mean, it's very profane, very everyday. And at the same time, everything about that is sacred and holy. This carries into our teaching. We have been saying, and we have said for more than 100 years now, that this is a teaching that is a teaching healing ministry. It's a teaching healing practice. We teach, we study, we understand, and we practice. And in that process, people's lives are transformed. In that process, the things appear to be healed all the time. And yet, when you dive deeper into the philosophy and into the scientific truth behind healing, especially from the yogic world and the holistic, seeing the world as a uniform field of energy and information, seeing the universe as that, you suddenly realize that there isn't really anything to heal. We are eternal beings. We go through life with various experiences. Some of them we like, some of them we don't, some of them we damn, some of them we bless. And yet all of them simply move us on to the next experience, on to the next way of living, on to the next good thing that will happen in our lives. So at a deeper level, an inner level, at a bigger, broader level, looking at this from the 60,000, 160,000 foot elevation, we see that there really is nothing to heal. There's only something to know. And healing becomes not fixing things as much as it becomes revealing underlying truth. Because as we begin to reveal the underlying consciousness that has brought into form the things that we are living with, like our bodies, then we begin to know that underneath there's a perfection. There's something within all of us that needs no fixing, that is not broken, that can never be broken. So what we are doing is tapping into that awareness, tapping into that reality, imagining our lives as if that was the only reality that we ever experienced, and all of these conditions that we run into, which do not sometimes need to be healing. Healing means simply that we take from two-ness back to oneness. We take from broken apart, or appearing to be broken apart, back into a oneness. If you think about cutting your hand, I recently had surgery on that one, so I have a real good feeling of what that's about, how that feels. You break it apart, you pull it apart, you take the oneness and you break it into two-ness. But you know what the body does immediately? It starts knitting it back together. It is natural that the two parts come back together in one. And actually, even when it's cut, there's still just one body here that is returning itself into its underlying perfection, because it already knows how to heal. It already knows how to bring about that greater expression of itself as one body. It's an amazing, miraculous thing when you think about it. See, at this deeper level, where it is about revealing, not healing, there is so much we can do and so much we can think about and so much we can bring into our everyday experience. Years ago, I was introduced to Louise Hay, I had the joy of dancing with her at a conference. I'll brag about that as long as I can brag about anything, because she is such a wonderful, gracious person. We were in line waiting for refreshments during this closing ceremony dance celebration, and I was behind her, and the line was going really slow, and she turned around, looked at me, she said, "So instead of cake, how about dancing with me?" And I went, "Oh yeah." And so out on the dance floor we went for a little while and had a great time. But I had also already known about her and met her before that through her very famous book, You Can Heal Your Life, because it addresses that underlying truth that is at the source of all healing, all restoration, all revealing of the greater truth. You can heal your life. It's a wonderful little book. It takes you through what she would do if she were with you at a session. And she has a practice in there that I want to mention and bring forward because it is so powerful. And it absolutely was one of the big steps in changing my life and bringing me into a healthier, greater living, greater experience of not only loving life, but loving my body and appreciating and loving the physicality of where I am and how I live. And that is this thing which she says, and you can do this now, or you can do it later. You can grab a little mirror, a little hand mirror, put it up, hold it up in front of you. I'm going to use my phone and reverse the camera. That's the other way to do it. Look yourself right in the eye and say your name. In my case, I will use the name I always heard when I was in trouble. Robert Alva Deen III. I love, accept, and approve of you. I really encourage you to try that, either now or later. Maybe not right now. First time I did it, I was listening to her book on an audio tape. Remember tapes, those little cassette things that we used to have that you don't know about unless you've been here a while. I was driving and I was listening to what she believes and what she teaches and all of that. She got to this exercise, and I, being the very arrogant male that I was at the time, she said, "Do this," and I thought, okay. She said, "Stop the tape and do it now," and I went, okay. So I just flipped the mirror down in front of me in the car, still buzzing along the highway, and looked at myself in the mirror for the first time, eyeball to eyeball, and said, "I love and approve of you, Robert Deen." And I nearly wrecked the car. I had to pull over. I became so emotional at the moment because I don't know that I had ever heard those words exactly that way. And I certainly had never said them to myself. Very powerful, because what it did was it brought to the surface all of the things, the beliefs, the attitudes, the thoughts, the feelings that were contradictory of that statement. Right now, when I say it, I just feel this wonderful warm glow because it's the truth. I do love and approve of myself. Yeah. But then there was so much piled on top of that reality that it all had to come bubbling up and out. And I spent the next few years, in fact, clearing out those beliefs and changing the way I thought and what I thought. All the time coming back to that affirmation and all of the other beautiful affirmations in that book. So if you do this practice once and you find it uncomfortable, you don't want to look at yourself, or when you really look at yourself, suddenly you have a lot of stuff that begins to happen, I encourage you to spend some time with it. Because all you're doing when you do that is simply beginning to clear away those things which stand in the way of that deeper and greater truth. The misinterpretations, the distorted ideas of love, perhaps, the distorted ideas about your body and what its function really is and what its amazing, wonderful presence in your life is for you. It's not even your body. We talked about this last week, and I'll keep coming back to it. It's the body that you are. Because in that same paradoxical way, you are a full-fledged spiritual, energetic being, but you are also a full-fledged physical being. So your body is you. You are your body. You're more than your body. It's not all that you are, but it's the part of you that keeps you anchored in time and space and allows you to move through and experience all these incredible, amazing things. Bodies are magnificent. When you think about it, the whole universe is contained in many ways within. We talked last week about the eye, and just in our eyes are more points of energy and information than there are stars in the galaxy, and it's made of the same stuff. Holy moly. We are at a point where so far we are in an evolutionary process that has gone on for millions and millions of years. You're not just who you are today because of when you were born and what town you live in. You are who you are today because of millions of years of evolution bringing you to this point and connecting you with all time and all space before that. And your body is the expression of that. Double wow, huh? And we have these great ideas when we think about this, and I made it with star stuff. Well, that's not just a metaphor, that's a physical reality. All of the physical elements in your body come from the stars and the planet here, but come through there and through all those places. And we're fired and energized by the energy of the stars. And yet, we are a star in our own way. And that's so great to have in an abstract sort of way. My teacher, Ernest Holmes, was my teacher, but I didn't know him personally. But my version of that teacher that I did know personally was Kennedy Schultz. And he said, people believe in the body as such a wonderful instrument and a wonderful thing to do. People believe in all of this spiritual truth. And yet the biggest stumbling block is, except for mine. The body is amazing. It's beautiful. It functions in so many wonderful ways. While you're listening to my voice, your body is creating new parts for itself constantly. It's processing all of the chemical reactions. It is containing millions of other organisms in it that are part of it and necessary to its function. They're all working there, doing their little jobs in their places. You're not an individual body. You're an individual organism of organisms. You're a universe within yourself. But when we get so negative about ourselves, when we let images from the world around us tell us there's something wrong with us or something's wrong about us or that we don't have the right body. I should have had that one. I've sure felt that way sometimes. They told me when I was a kid I should be a football player because I'm so big. I was terrified and hated football. I went out one time, got the breath knocked out on me 4 times in the first practice and said, that's enough of this. I can find other ways to abuse myself. But had I stayed in that, I always had the image that if I had stayed with that, I would have had this massive, muscle-bound, big body that I should have had. Well, I shouldn't have had it because it would have required me to get knocked out a lot. I don't want to do that. And it's taken some time for me to learn to love and appreciate the one I got now. Because it's the one that really reflects who I am and what I am about. And it serves me in such wonderful, wonderful ways. It's a beautiful thing. But we can get on such a negative tear about that. I have the wrong one. I should be this or that. And all this stuff about spiritual mind treatment and life-changing experiences and all these things that happen so beautifully and so well for so many people, they just don't work for me. Sorry, doesn't work. Can't do it. Never will. Never has. I'm the exception to spiritual law. I'm the exception to the way life works. I'm the exception to natural law and the way things go. I'm just a lost cause. Well, you know what? Like we said at the beginning, there is nowhere that in energy and power and the power of spirit is not present. Spiritual law is present, working wherever you are, however you are. And so anytime you set yourself apart and say, this doesn't apply to me. I mean, I'm worse than or special than. It's a really arrogant kind of thing to say, even though the arrogance may be turned in a really negative way. How arrogant to say, I'm not part of God, because everything else is. So if I'm not part of God, what could I be? Nothing. I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be hearing my voice, breathing air, taking up space. But lest we judge ourselves harshly for thinking ourselves above and beyond or below. I used to call myself subhuman back in my teenage years because I thought my desires and urges and sexuality was so evil and so bad. Little did I know that my version of sexuality has been around as long as there has been creation on the planet, as long as there have been humans, as long as there have been animals. And scientific theory proven shows that for there to be the homosexual experience showing up again and again and again, generation after generation, without being able to self-replicate, means it's showing up again and again and again because it's necessary to the species. Science has backed that up and built that up for years. They've tested it. They've looked at it. It's not just some excuse. It's a physical truth. All people, whatever your sexuality, or whatever your sexual identity, whatever your personal identity, all of those things that we are coming to understand in a bigger and broader way right now than ever before. All of those things are there because they're necessary to life on the planet, to life of our human species, to life of all the other species around us. It's all connected and necessary. So how could I do anything but love this body, through which I am walking through the world and having experiences and tasting and loving and smelling and feeling and all of those wonderful things? It is a beautiful, miraculous thing to be part of this body and to live this body right now. So you are a miraculous being living in a form that lives and presents itself in the world of time and space in a beautiful and perfect way. So I invite you to know that within every part of this physicality of yours, as Dr. Ernest Holmes says, there's a cosmic or divine pattern at the center of every organ of the physical body. Our body is some part of the body of God, the body of the infinite. It is a manifestation of the Supreme Spirit. You are the infinite being, something unique and special, and your body is as much a part of that as your mind is. I invite you to celebrate it. How wonderful to live in a world and live in a life where you accept your body as it is, and you love it, and you embrace it, and you care for yourself, all parts of yourself, spiritual, mental, physical. And we all know all those various things that we talk about and we think about. So we care for ourselves, and we care for ourselves as in loving, generous, kind ways. We stop treating ourselves as if we don't matter and as if we are invincible in terms of our ability to defy spiritual law. I once slid down a rock in the mountains and busted both ankles because I thought I could do it. And even though everything around me and all the people around me were saying, that's too steep to slide down that rock. What I didn't see was at the bottom of the rock, it dropped off And so they were right. Gravity is a real thing. I'm going to cooperate with it from now on. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't apply to me. Spiritual law and spiritual reality and spiritual love applies to all of us. I invite you to embrace it, to celebrate it, and to join me in our closing affirmation, which is the affirmation for this week. I delight in the wonder of my body, and I treat it kindly and/or with love. Because you deserve that for yourself, as do I. Because you are truly wonderful. You are a wonder. And so am I, and so it is. Namaste. So in this joyful feeling and attitude and knowing, I invite you to join me in thinking about the giving, receiving, flowing. Everything in our bodies works the way it works because of the circulation of blood, circulation of life, circulation of all kinds of things, circulation of chemical reactions physically, circulation of prosperity and giving and receiving out in the universe. So I invite you to enhance and expand your circulation, your spiritual financial circulation, your own prosperity by giving to the places that give you back great good and great ideas and great truth. And I hope that for you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown is one of those places. And I invite you to join us in that contributing and giving. As you see, there are lots of ways to do it. You can simply scan the code. You can go through our donation page on the website. Whatever way you do it, the most important thing that you do is in consciousness as well as the physical expression of consciousness. So join me, if you will, in our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow. All that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Thank you so much. Now let's see what the announcements have to say.
And it's time for everybody's favorite fun game, announcements. Hey, stay in touch with the Center for Spiritual Living Midtown through our newsletter. Get one email a week letting you stay informed. And please subscribe when visiting YouTube to our YouTube channel. Those subscriptions go a long, long way. And while you're on your social media, why not give us a like and a share on Facebook? Let your friends know what we're doing. Invite them to come watch our services with you. And join us on our Zoom room throughout the week. We offer a variety of Zoom interaction opportunities each and every week here as part of the Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. 10 a.m. Sunday is our discussion group around the 365 Science of Mind book. Every Sunday, 12 noon Sundays, our community fellowship immediately following our Sunday services, and 12 noon on Tuesday, our online empowerment opportunity. The access information remains the same for all of our Zoom experiences. If you need access, please visit cslmidtown.org and you'll find access information on our website. Join us on any of our Zoom opportunities throughout the week. And while you're with us, be sure to connect with one of our professional practitioners. These are folks that are highly trained to support you along your spiritual journey. You can learn more on our website about our professional practitioners. Just head over to cslmidtown.org, click on About and Practitioners. Then you'll see their bios and a way to reach them and learn a little bit more about each of them. And please send us your prayer requests. Click on the Home tab and look for Affirmative Treatment Prayer Requests. Fill out the form, send it off, and get our professional practitioners praying for you each and every day. All right.
So I'm happy to announce, along with YouTube and Facebook, we are now on Twitter and we are on Instagram. Not TikTok yet, but we're working on it. And I will tell you that all you need to do to find us in those places is hashtag CSL _Midtown. We hope to see you there. We hope to hear your responses. I noticed some of our chats today while we're talking are kind of blowing up with the congratulations on the bow tie. I'm glad you like it. I like it too. Celebrating diversity, celebrating what's going on in the world, celebrating freedom, and enjoying it and loving it. So next Sunday, we'll be hybrid again. We'll be on this channel, but we'll also be in our physical location. And we have a guest minister speaking next week. It is Dr. John Karn. He will be covering that. I will be on a family vacation with my daughter and grandkids and doing something crazy down in Florida. So I will miss out on being with you then. So we will be, as it says, the Garden Hills Recreation Center on Pine Avenue, I think it is, Pine Road. I need to learn that. There it is, Pine Tree Drive. That's even better. And look forward to hearing and seeing and any of you who can be there at that point. So if you will join me in our closing with the affirmation of life. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.